Hi. In the previous class, we are done with filter definition prompt. So now let's go for object prompt. This is very important. Generally, object prompt, whenever we are going to use object prompt in the reports, we do called as ad hoc reports. So the difference between ad hoc and canned are nothing but canned reports are nothing but static reports. Ad hoc is nothing but dynamic reports. So by making use of object prompt, we can change the definition of the report. So let's go back to MicroStrategy. So let's go for prompts here. Right click. So object, like we do have different objects, like anything is an object, right? Attributes or metrics or filters. So what I'm going to do is, in this particular object prompt, I'm going to add both. Let's consider both attributes and metrics for now, and we'll test whether it is going to work or not. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pull some set of attributes, or regularly whatever the attributes we are going to use. So I'm going to use those attributes, let's say year, category, subcategory, region. Let's take 4 attributes for now. And you can go back to metrics, public objects, metrics, sales metrics, and make use of profit and revenue. You can also use a couple of metrics as well, cost. Okay, so I just used attributes and metrics in one particular object prompt. Click on next. Prompt answer required. Let's leave it as it is, so no worries. So click on finish. Predefined list of objects. Okay, so let me use the list of objects, because we are using both attributes and metrics. Just leave it as like list of objects. So this is what our object prompt. Go back to reports. Let's create a new report here. Now object prompt is it's not like we are going to use in one particular place, where we can use in templates, we can use in filters, like it depends on the objects. So now we created object prompt on top of attributes and metrics, so we'll try to place in template. Okay, so because generally we used to place attributes and metrics in template. So now this list of objects, that's an object prompt here. It clearly shows this is an object prompt. So just drag and drop here. So it's not allowing, correct? So right click. Uh, I'm not able to select add to rows or add to columns. So the issue with this particular object prompt, this is good, but the problem is, whenever we are going to work with prompts or object prompt, right, with attributes and metrics. So we have both attributes and metrics, but the thing is, when you drop attribute into report template, it default it goes to rows. Whenever you are going to place metric into report or double click, default it goes to columns. So the default functionality, like the default placement is like rows, attribute into rows and metric into columns. That's the reason why it is not allowing to place in the report template. So if we have both attributes and metrics in object prompt, it won't allow. So what we can do is, so let's remove metrics from this particular object prompt. Okay, so then you can go for only attributes. So click on finish, and let's rename this as attributes. Let's create our object prompt for metrics. So the best practice is, not the best practice, we have to create object prompt for attributes, separate object prompt for attributes, and separate object prompt for metrics. We can also create object prompt for filters as well. So let's go for metrics, sales metrics, profit, and let's use revenue. Let's say cost price. This metrics. So now go back to report. Now let's refresh. So we have attributes. Now just double click. Default it comes into rows. Got it? So double click on metrics. Default it comes into columns. That is the reason why initially whenever we are going to add the first, we create a list of objects, right? Both attributes and metrics. It won't allow to place in the report template because of this default functionality for attributes and metrics. Now let's execute. So what is the advantage of this particular report is dynamically you can change the definition. Dynamically changing the definition in the sense, let's say I'm going to use year wise. So like whatever the available objects we have, category, subcategory, region, and year. So I just selected year, click on finish. Now I'm only getting a year wise or just year, only year data. Got it? So let's reprompt. So we have another prompt as well. Okay, but you should have make use of required prompt. So if you are not going to select any metric, we won't or we should not allow to run this particular report. So that is the reason, like, we should make use of some of the prompts as mandatory prompts. Go back to metrics. Now I want to select profit. So click on next, click on finish. So now this is an ad hoc report. So I used year wise profit. Okay, now I'm showing year wise profit report. So let's rerun the report or reprompt, sorry. So now I want to go for category wise, subcategory wise. So click on next. Now I want to go for year, profit and revenue. Click on finish. So initially we have gone through like year wise profit. Now I change the same report. So same report, I change the definition. That is what, like, I want to showcase category wise, subcategory wise profit and revenue. So that's what the advantage of ad hoc reports or object prompts. So instead of creating static reports, if a user wants to select a particular attribute or a particular metric, or you can also go for a particular filter. If you have an existing filter, we can use multiple filters in the object prompt and we can reuse. So let me save and close, and we'll work on that. So in this particular case, anyhow, I'm going to add a filter in the prompt. So as I said, better to go for filter and template will be prompted. Okay, don't choose. If we have only like attribute and metric prompt, you can go for only template will be prompted, because we use attributes and metrics in the template. The object prompt for attributes and the object prompt for metrics we placed in the template. Okay, in the filter definition prompt we used that particular prompt in the filters. That is the reason we can go for only filter will be prompted, but the best practice is both. You can go for filter and template will be prompted. So click OK. So let's create, as I said, let's create a prompt for filters. So go for prompt, object prompt, public objects. I do have existing filters here. Let's go for 2014, 15, 16, and any other. Yes, south filter. Yeah, we have different filters. So we have, these are all individual filters. Okay, so now click on next. So make use of okay, that's okay. Filter prompt, filters. So now go back to reports. Let's edit. I just want to place filter prompt here. That's for the object filter prompt. Go back to public objects, prompts, new folder, and we have filters. So it's not allowing directly. When you use double click, right click, you can see add to report filter. Let's make use of add to report filter. Let's save and close. Just double click on this. So this is what ad hoc reports. So default we used to select the default selections. So now if you want to go for, let's say I want to go for category wise, region wise, category wise, region wise, click on next. And I want to go for only revenue, click on next. Or let's go back. Here we are using year filter. So let's use year, okay, just for a confirmation. Okay, so let's use year attribute, because I'm going to select a particular filter called as year. Now you can choose any particular filter. Okay, so not only year, we can create multiple filters and we can choose dynamically. So in this particular drop down, so we should have gone for region as well, but yeah, let's go for 2014. Now I'm using 2014 filter. So let's click on finish. So this is what year, category, year wise revenue, and the filter condition is 2014. Click on finish. So we are getting 2014 wise category wise revenue. And if you want to verify the SQL view, you can go back to SQL view and you can check the filter condition. That is what year in list 2014. So this is what the advantage of object prompt, or we can also call it as ad hoc reports. So we can create object prompt for attributes, object prompt for metrics, for filters, any particular objects, not for facts and all those things, but whatever the useful, like whatever the objects we are going to place in templates and filters, right? You can make use of those functionalities. Let's say consolidations. We have the next concept called as consolidations, custom groups. You can also add both consolidations and custom groups for object prompt as well. Okay, so this is what object prompt. The important thing is create object prompt for separate object prompt for attributes, for metrics, separate object prompt for metrics, and you can also create separate object prompt for filters. Yeah, thank you. So we'll discuss value prompt and level prompt in the next class. Yeah, thank you.